קהל קדוש, בוקר אור, שבוע טוב, דף יומי, מסכת עבודה זרה, דף י"ח, עמוד א', 18a1. The Gemara was talking about that Rabbi Hanina was nigzar alav serefa. Why? It says Shoget Hashem beotiotav, because he used to come and used to say the name of Hashem the way that it's written, right? You're obviously not allowed to do that. So ask the Gemara, how did he do that? We learned in the Mishnah and Sanhedrin. There's certain people that don't have chelek l'olam haba. And who's that? Haomer en Torah min hashamayim. When somebody says that Torah did not come down from heaven, or en tchiyat hametim min Torah, Abba Shaul omer, also I'll get et Hashem ve'otiotav. So you see from here that if Abba Shaul comes and he says that if you're hoget Hashem ve'otiotav, en lo chelek le'olam haba, so how does Rabbi Hanina ben Terah do this then? Answers the Gemara, kedei litlamed avad. He was doing it, right? Litlamed. Litlamed means he was teaching. So since he was teaching, technically speaking, he was going to be permitted, right? But it says litlamed, it's mutar. Kedetanya, as we learned in a braita, lo tilmad la'asot. Right? What does it mean lo tilmad la'asot? Ketovot goyim avalata lamed. You're not allowed to do it, but you're allowed to learn. What does that mean? Lehavinu lurot. Right? What does that mean? In order to come and to learn. So therefore, right? So from here we learn the same thing. The chulkot goyim, you're allowed to learn it. So therefore, that was the kavanah of Rabbi Hanina in order to learn. Okay, so basically he made. So then says the Gemara, Elamai tam enish. So 1 second. So why was he punished then? If he was doing it only in order to learn and in order to teach others, so for why in the world was he punished? It says Mishum hoget Hashem b'farhesia dahavi. Right? He says because he was doing it farhesia. Meaning the way that it had to be done was it had to be done privately, but he was doing it in publicly. So the second that it says publicly, so therefore he was going to be punished as well. Now, what did his wife get? Hariga, that she was going to be killed with a sword. Why? Telo michabe, because she didn't rebuke him. From here we learned, so if you have the possibility to give him a cha'ah, yes. So therefore, if she has to come and she has to rebuke him and she didn't, she gets punished for him. So the same thing. That's why many times people, they keep quiet, but they don't realize they have to rebuke. You understand? People during, Chazrat HaShatz, they come, they talk and talk. You have to rebuke. So you have to tell them, keep quiet, keep quiet. You have to, mamash, you have to play with their phones. Yeah. So it's problem. Yeah. Ve'al bito, and also on the daughter. Yeah. Atashomea. Al bito. On the daughter, the daughter, please, structure. Yeah. Ve'al bito. Yeah. So again, the wife got hariga. Why? Because she was supposed to be mocha, right? She had to do mecha and she didn't do it. Al bito l'shev kubasha zonot. What? The daughter was sitting in a place of harlotry. She had to be with all the harlots. Now why? So it says, Damar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, once happened that the daughter was going in front of the Gedolei Romi. And listen, so that means here you have the Roman generals, right? The Roman hierarchy. And they went and they said, she said, wow, look how beautiful this girl is. What happened? She didn't even matter. She started even more meticulous in how she walked. So what happened? What does it mean in the pasuk? Avona keva yisubeni. The avonot of my akevim, right, of my heel, they're going to surround me. Avonot shadam dash ba'akeva ba'olam hazeh mesubilno. They're going to surround him yom adin. What does that mean? The fact that here she went and she heard that they're doing the, they're getting all excited about how she looks. She did even stronger. Now again, this is not this Gdolei Romi. But she went and she was דקדקה, right, פסיעותיה יותר, נענשה שעכשיו היא צריכה לשב בקובה של זונות, כאילו שהיא זונה.
זה הבת של מי?
הבת של רבי חנינא בן תרדיון. גדול הדור. Yes. Yeah.
Is it because he said the name, that's this punishment?
בשעה שיצאו שלושתן, during the time that all three of them were taken out of the בית המשפט, צידקו עליהם את הדין. They went and they said, who Amar, he said, Atzur Tamim Paolo ki chol derachav mishpat, so he accepted upon himself the justice. Ishto Amra el emunah ven avel tzadik v'yashar hu, and the daughter said, Gedola etzav rav aliyah asher einecha pekuchot al kol derchei bnei adam. לתת לאיש כדרכיו וכפרי מעלליו. So imagine how great this was. I mean, mamash, they were taking out, and it was in the same time, but they all went to the Bet Mishpat at the same time. And he went and he said, you, meaning the father, the husband, this is your punishment. Srefa. You, the wife, you're going to get a harigah. You, the daughter, kubash zonot. And each one, they accepted upon themselves the justice. They accepted upon themselves. היא כן עשתה. היא דקדקה בפסיעותיה.
לא, זה סיפור אחר, לא?
נכון. כל סיפור זה משהו אחר.
אין קשר בין אחד לשני.
לא, אני אומר...
האישה...
האישה...
Amar Rabbi, says Rabbi, כמה גדולים צדיקים הללו. Look how great are these צדיקים שזנו להם 3 מקורות של צידוק הדין בשעת צידוק הדין. They had 3 different psukim of tziduk adin, right? Biduk during the time of tziduk adin. So they accepted the justice. Okay, this is another famous Gemara. Listen to this Gemara. This Gemara makes it smarmonet. You know what smarmonet is? Mamash on fire. Tanu Rabbanan. We learned it right there. Keshechala Rabbi Yosem and Kisma. You remember that was yesterday's Mishnah Yomi. That Rabbi Yosem and Kisma, when they came to him, a person, and he told them, where do you live? And he told them, I live in a city Shel Torah. And so he went and he said, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of gold and silver and everything to come to my city. That was a Pirkei Avot, Perek Vav, remember? And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm only going to live in a place of Torah. So this is Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma. Keshechala Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma alach Rabbi Chanin ben Teradion levakaros. Rabbi Chanin ben Teradion came to visit him. Amarlo, he told him, Chanina achi, Chanina, my brother. Yeah, so he comes and he says, he says, do you realize that this kingdom was given the kingdom by Hashem? Hashem made them the kings. Because it destroyed the house, the Bet HaMikdash, it burnt the Hechal, harga chasidav, killed out all the chasidim, ibda tuvav, right? It got rid of all the good things, and it's still around. And I heard about you, that you're learning Torah, and you're teaching Torah publicly. And the Sefer Torah is by you. Amarlo, he said, he answered him, don't worry, Hashem should have mercy on me. Amarlo, he told him, I'm speaking logic, and you're going to tell me מן השמיים ירחמו?
מה הוא רוצה שהוא יעשה?
שהוא לא יעשה את זה ברבים.
שלא ילמד תורה ברבים?
שלא ילמד תורה ברבים. לא, ילמד תורה ברבים. הוא אומר, תמי העניים לא ישרפו אותך ואת ספר התורה באש. אני לא מתפלא אם ישרפו אותך ואת התורה באש. That's exactly how he passed away, בשרפה. So Amarlo, so he told him, Rabbi Chanina to Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi, mani lechaya olam haba. Do I get olam haba? So this is a famous Gemara that I always quote you guys. Right? Rabbi Chanina ben Teradion is asking Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, do I get olam haba?
Who's bigger?
1 second. So he comes and he says, Amarlo, kru ma'aseh bal yadcha. Did anything ever come to your hands? Do you have any sayon? Did you have anything? Amarlo, he told him, Ma'ot shel Purim itchalfu li, ma'ot shel tzedakah. Right? I had the money of Purim, that was yesterday's daf also, the one yesterday, right? That got mixed up with money of tzedakah. Right? That means I got confused between the different monies. Right? And what happened? I gave everything to the anim. Amarlo, he says, Im ken, michelkecha yeh b'chelki, u'megororecha yeh gorali. He says, yes, you're going to get olam haba, and halvai that I should also get your chelek. So now the question that we always ask, and this is the based upon the Rambam and Pirush Mishnayot on the Rambam, where he says, Ribono shel olam. Does something make sense what's going on here? You have a person that he's learning Torah his entire life. He's learning Torah. He's teaching Torah publicly. He's going to die al Kiddush Hashem. He's going to be burnt at the stake with a Sefer Torah. He's asking, does he get Olam Haba? Now, instead of the rabbi coming and telling him, of course, he asks him, do you have any story? Do you have anything that happened? Do you have any nisayon? And he comes and he tells him, by the way, I had money, I had my right pocket, my left pocket, I forgot which money was which. I give everything to tzedakah. Now you get olam haba, right? So there's an incredible Pirush HaMishnayot LaRambam. And the Rambam brings this Gemara, and he says that you see from here that to get olam haba, you need to do a mitzvah lishma. Lishma means only 100% for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if you don't do it for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you do not get olam haba. So therefore, many times. So he says, so because of that, the Rambam was saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is lezakot Yisrael, he balaim Torah mitzvot. He gave us so many mitzvot in order to continue doing mitzvot that way we could do one mitzvah lishma. So here, the one mitzvah lishma was nobody knew about it. The money, even if it could have been a few dollars, right? That it was stuck in his pocket and he got confused which one's what. Nobody knows about that. So that was money. That was bemet a mitzvah lishma. Teaching Torah Rabbi, maybe he's getting kavod from it. Maybe he's getting other things as well. So fine. Amru, they said the rabbis, Rayu yamim mu'atim ad shniftar Rabbi Yosef min Kisma. Rabbi Yosef min Kisma passed away. Right? So it says, because in order that he shouldn't see the bad of Rav Chanina, right? Because basically it was because of what he said that he actually died. So everybody went, and they were doing espedim, esped gadol. When they came back, they found Rav Chanina that he was usek osek b'Torah, makir kilo barabim, sefer Torah menoch b'klo. Heviu, they brought him. They put him around with the sefer Torah. They put anafim around him. And they went and they burnt him. Right? They burnt him with the Sefer Torah. So they brought sfog of tzemer in order, and they put it in water, and they put it on his heart in order that he shouldn't die quickly. Right? Amralo Bito said the daughter, Abba, erecha bakach, I'm going to see you like this. Amarla, he told her, Elmaleh ani israfti levadi haya davar kashe li. He says, if it was only me, it would have been difficult. But now that it's also the Sefer Torah, whoever is going to take the elbon of the Torah, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, should also exact retribution for himself as well. So Amrulo Tamidav, the students told Rabbi Chaniman Teradion, Rabbi, Mata roeh, what do you say? Amarla, and he told them, Gilgilin Israfim. I see the gvil is being burnt, but the otiyot, the letters, are flying in the shamayim. They're porchot. Afata p'tach picha, so they told him, open up your mouth. V'tikanes b'cha et ha'esh. And then the fire will go in your mouth, and then it'll kill you quicker. Amar lehen, it says, Mutav she'itelena mi shenetana, ve'al yichabel hu be'atzmo. It's better that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's the one that gave him the neshama, he should take it away, and not that he's going to cause it to himself, that he's kilu me'abedet atzmo ledat, that he's committing suicide kilu, because he's quickening his death. Right? I mean, imagine, we're talking about people on different levels, right? You understand? Samarlo Klastorni. So there was a Roman officer that he was in charge of the burning. So he went and he told him, Rebbe, if I'm going to pick up the fire and I'm going to take away the tzemet on your heart, right, the wool on your heart, do you take me to Olam Haba? He says, yes. He shavali, swear to me. He swore to him. And it quickly went out his neshama. So he went, and then this memune kafatz v'nafal letoch ha'ur. He jumped into the fire. ויצא בת קול ואמרה, רבי חנינא בן תרדיון וקלצטונני מזומנין לחיי העולם הבא.
Did you call him Rabbi also?
No, the Klatstonini. Yeah, he wasn't a Rabbi. This was a goy. Yeah. So Bachar Rebbe and Rebbe again, right? He started crying, right? And he says that what happened? Bachar Rebbe ve'amar, yeah, yesh koneh olamo b'sha'ah achat, yesh koneh olamo, what? Bekama shanim.
Very similar.
That was yesterday. Yesterday we spoke about this.
That they called him Rabbi.
Says the Gemara, Bruria. Bruria was the wife of Rabbi Meir and the daughter of Rabbi Chanina ben Teradion. Elahad Meir Aneni. Listen to this. The daughter. No, another daughter. Amralo, so she went and she told Rabbi Meir, Zila bemalka diat va'achtai bekuba shel zonot. It's a chirpa that my sister is in a kuba shel zonot. Yeah, so Bruria tells her husband, Rabbi Meir Balanes. She tells him, Zebusha v'chirpa that my sister is in a kuba shel zonot. So Shakal Tarkaba the Darede Vazal. So Rabbi Meir took a kavim of zahav and he went. Samar, he went and he said like this: Isura, if she did an avera, mitavid nisa. So if she didn't do an avera, so then there's going to become a miracle. But if she did an avera, there's no miracle. So Azal Naka Nafshek Parasha. So he went and he got dressed like one of these Roman officials. Right? What happened? Amarla, he comes and he tells her, Ashminili, come, I wanna be with you. Amarla, so Amarla, she told him, Tashtana ana, amanida. Amarla, so he tells her, Mitrachana mirtach. Right? Okay, so I'll wait until you finish your period. Yeah? Amralo, she said, Nefishim tuva de shapirimina. He says, what? There's so many other girls more beautiful than me. Why, you need me? Well, go to another girl. What are you coming to me for? So Shema Mina said, Rabbi Mi Balanes, it comes out that she didn't do an Avera. Why? She did that to everybody. She would tell it to every single man that would come to her. Azal legabe shomer dida. So he went to the shomer. The Amarle, and he told him, Havani Ali, give me this girl. I want to take her. Amarle, he told him, Mistafir malchut, I'm afraid of the malchut. So Amar, he said, Shekol tarkib, take this. Palga plachu, palga lavelecha. Half of it gives shochad, meaning you have to pay off other people as well. And half of it you keep to yourself. Amarle, he tells him, okay, what happens if there's no more shochad afterwards? Well, what am I going to do? You have to keep on giving shochad. What's going to happen? Amarle, he says, Ema lahadam neni. Say lahadam neni, and that's it. Umintalza, and you're going to be saved. Amarle, he comes and he says, Yudchet amubet, 18b. Right, there's a beautiful Gemara. Remember, Rabbi Mir Valanes. He says, well, what is it going to help now that I'm going to come and say, Amarle, he says, Hashta Chazit, you're going to see. Right? And Hava now kalbe davu ka'achli inche. There were dogs that they would eat human beings. They would devour the human beings. Shakel kala shadabehu. So he took a piece of afad and he threw it at them. They went to attack him. Amar elahadmin aneni v'shavku. They left him. V'yavule. Right? And they gave him, right, the sister-in-law, they gave him back. Lesovishtama minta b'malka. So then they heard at you. So they brought the shomer. They were going to kill him. Askul is kifa. They went, they put him up to hang him. Amar, he said, and again, they weren't able to hang him. Achte, they brought him down. Vamruda, they told him, Maya, what are you saying? So Amar, he said, this was a story, and he told them the story. They went and they put the wanted sign as a fugitive, Rabbi Meir, on all over Rome, that they were looking for him.
What happened to the girl?
She was saved.
He took her?
He took her back. Yeah? So Amri, 1 minute. So Amri, so they said, Kol dechazu lepartzufa den laite. Anybody that sees this guy, bring him to us. Yom achada, one day, chaziu, they saw him. Ratu batre, they started running after him. Rat mi kamayu aleve zonot. He went into a zona, and he went into a bet zonot. Ika de Amri, some people say he didn't go into a bet zonot, but he went to a bishulev de kochovim chaza. He went into a non-Jewish store. Tamash beha umatak beha. He went like this. He dipped his finger, and he went like this. Everyone understood what he just did? He dipped his finger into the non-kosher food, and then he went like this with the other finger. Now, why? Ika de Amri, or some people say at Eliyahu, that Eliyahu Navi came. V'idamlu zona, and Eliyahu Navi was the zona for him. So krachte, that he was hugging him. So Amri, they said, nah, chas v'shalom, if this was the rabbi, he wouldn't have done such a thing. Right? So therefore, this was a reason to show that this wasn't the person that they're looking for. It's like, they knew this is a big rabbi. He's not going to go into a non-kosher store and start eating non-kosher. He's not going to have a zona on top of him like this, hugging him. Like, it's not the same person. Right? So he got up, and he ran away. He went from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel. Because in Bavel, the Romans were not in charge. Right? Or Ikadamri my Maaseh. Some people say it was because of this story that he ran away to Babel. Ikadamri Maaseh de Bruria. And some people say it was the story of. Now says Rashi, what was the story of Maaseh de Bruria? Shepam achat liglegal shamru chachamim nashim datan kalahen. Right? In Alayu. Right? So what happened? She went and she started saying, what? You think that women, they're kilu nashim datot kalan?
He sent the student.
Amala, he went and he said, Chayecha sovcha leodol lidivrem. You're going to admit to them. Right? Remember, Bruria was very, very smart. She won many arguments against her husband. Remember that? Yeah, this was the daughter of Chanim Tradion. We're talking about she was a tough cookie. Yeah. V'tziva le'echad mitalmidav lenasota l'dvar avera. So he went 1 second. So he went and he told one of his students to test her. V'iftzirba. So he was yamim rabim ad shenitratzet, until one day she actually went and she gave in. Uchenodala, right? And once he told her, so he ran away because of kisufa. So there's a whole question here. What does that mean that he told her? Did he tell her before the avera or only after the avera? But it's no. So it's mashma that she didn't do the avera. It's mashma that she didn't do the avera. This is actually he says over here it's chutz mibruria. Right? Because she went and she said, Nashim datan kalan alehen chutz mibruria. So Rabbi Meir says, don't say that, but it's not true, right? It's meaning that it's halacha, right? So there's a whole question: how did Rabbi Meir do this? How did Rabbi Meir come and he do such a thing? So the Tiferet Yisrael on the Mishnayot, in the end of the Masechet, he comes and he says, Chas Shalom, that Rabbi Meir came and he wanted to be machshil his wife. Ela yodea היה רבי מאיר שתלמידו היה ירא שמיים מאוד, ולא יעשה עמה איסור אף כשתתרצה. That means Rabbi Meir knew that his student wasn't going to do anything. So he trusted the student, but it wasn't more than his wife. He knew that by nature, any woman is going to give in. Lav dafka because it's his wife. He knows Nashim Daton Kalan. So he knew what was going to happen, right? But he says still, Chachamim say, En apotropos larayot. So the Ben Yehuda comes and he answers, Otot Talmid was a saris. He was sterile. And therefore he wasn't chashash that you didn't suspect that he was going to do relations with her. And he says, not only that which Bruria was chankat atzma was because of the bushan trafale adata. And therefore he says it was not a din of mabed atzmo ledat. The Shashel the Kabbalah actually says that after nitratzta, Rabbi Meir went in instead of his talmid. And therefore there was no avera at all. And then when it says kishnodalo, it was Rabbi Meir told her. That all of a sudden he comes and he says, by the way, it's me. It's not the talmid. You understand? So that's one of the opinions. Again, it's one of the opinions. So again, it's a whole question. But anyway, there was a whole story. And anyway, this is what happened at the end. Says Yudchet Amubet 18b, the two dots. We're on the first wide line. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned on the Braita. If you're going to go to a stadium, yeah, so you're going to go to all these different places. Ulkarkom to Amatzov, Rasham et Nechashim, and you come and you see all these Nechashim, Chashafim, Vetachabarim. These are Lochashen Nechashim, Bukinu Mikinu Milyon Lulim Lorim Salgonim. These are types of Letzanim, right? These right mockers. Hareze Moshav Letzim. It's a Moshav Letzim. ועליהם הכתוב אומר השאיש של הולך בעצת רשעים מושב לצים לא ישב כי אם בתורת השם חפצו הלמטה. So we learn from here, שדברים הללו מביאים את אדם לידי ביטול תורה. These things they bring to bitul Torah. So somebody's going to tell you, Rabbi, what's the big deal? I just want to go to a soccer game. I want to go to a basketball game. I want to go, right? They come, they drive all the way to Tampa and they start going to all these, games and all those things. So the question is, so this is Moshav Letzim. Moshav Letzim. What is Moshav Letzim? Bitul Torah. So he says, Urminu, we have a contradiction. Somebody that goes to Itzadin, it's going to be mutar, because at the end of the day, he could scream, and he's going to save a Jew that's there, that's going to get ulkalkom mutar, but he can't start being with them to strengthen the matzor. Now, if you're going to tell me it's going to be, he's mitchashev imahem, it's going to be asur. Mitchashev imahem, he comes and means that it's ki'ilu that you're going to come and start being mitzaref lahem to go with them there. It's going to be asur. So he says, kasha tzadin, kasha, you're not allowed to go to these things, and here it's saying you're allowed to go. So he says like this: Bishma kakom lakashia kan mitchashev men kan mitchashev men. Elai tzadin kasha. He says it all depends whether you're actually doing the. Again, you're going to the matzor. Matzor is that you're going and you're trying to save the Jews that are in the siege inside the city. So he says it's a tanaihi. The Tana was we learned in a braita. En olchin letzadim nem shav letzim. Rabbi Natan matir mnei shnei dvarim. He says you could do it. Why? You could scream and you could save somebody that's there. Right, because they used to put people in the middle, and then you could scream at them, "Hey, watch out!" And then the gore, right, the animal comes there, so you could save him. Because you could testify that the guy was killed in order that his wife could be remarried. That means you could actually testify about that, right? V'tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a braita, you're not allowed to go to different places of theaters, right? Why? They come and they do all these things of Avodah Zarah. These are the Rabbi Meir. Chachamim אומרים מפני שמזבלים אסור מפני חשד עבודת כוכבים מקום שמזבלים אסור מפני מושב לצים. It all depends. If they do Avodah Zarah there, it's Avodah Zarah. If not, it's מושב לצים. What's the difference between them? The difference between them is the case where the Jew goes there, right, and he's nasav natan, he's doing a business there, right? He sold them something that could bring to Avodah Zarah, and he got money. So Rabbi Meir says that for sure it's going to be a Avodah Zarah, so it's asur, and therefore they're not allowed to do it. But according to Chachamim, it's just a moshav letzim, so you could sell them things, and then there's no problem of just selling them something. So Darash Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi, Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi come and he's doresh. What does it mean in the pasuk What does it mean? Fortunate is the man that he did not go in the atzat rishaim. Yeah, he didn't go after the advice of the rasha. Right? He wasn't standing with the chataim. If he didn't go, so how was he standing? If he wasn't standing, how was he sitting? ומאחר שלא ישב יחלץ, so how do you have the התלוצצות? אלא לומר לך, but the Torah is going to teach you. Right? שאם הלך, if you go with them, at the end you're going to stand with them. And if you stand with them, סופר לשב, you're going to sit with them. And if you're going to sit with them, you're going to do ליצנות as well. והמלץ, הכתוב אומר, אם חכמת לך, right? והמלצת לבדך תיסע, that you're going to have this ליצנות. ואמר רבי אלעזר, says רבי אלעזר, כל המתלוצץ, ייסורים באים עליו. People, they do ליצנות all יום. All day. They do tout le jour. Right? They come and they're doing ליצנות. And he says, but you should know, ייסורים באים עליו. He gets ייסורים. שנאמר, ואתה אל תתלוצצו ונחזקו מסורותיכם. אמר להו רבא לרבנן, says רבא to רבנן, במטותא בעיני מנייכו. He says, בבקשה, I'm asking you guys, please, לא תתלוצצו. Don't do mockery. לא לתו עליכם ייסורים, so you don't have ייסורים. Right? Because again, remember, the ייסורים is going to come because of התלוצצות. ואמר רב קטינא, כל המתלוצץ, מזונותיו מתמעטין. Beforehand, you're going to tell me Yisurim. Okay, so the people might not pay attention. Now, all of a sudden, it says, if somebody does, you're touching their pockets. Now you tell them if somebody does litzanut, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he does his parnasah becomes much smaller. Amar Rabbi Shimon Lakish, kol mitolotzetz, nofel beginam. He's going to fall in Ginam Shneimar. Zed yahi let shemo. Ose bevrat zadon. Venevra la Ginam. Shneimar yom evra yom ahu. Amar Rabbi Yoshia says, kol mityaher. Not only litzanut, anybody that's arrogant. Some people, they have their nose in the air, right? They come and start thinking, look who I am, you know who I am, you know what my last name is, you know who I am. Yeah, exactly. You know, all these things, right? Gava, gavtan. What happens? Nofel beginam. Shneimar, zed yahir let shemo ose bevrot zadom venevra leginam. Shneimar yom evra, hari ayomahu. Right? Amar bi tanchum, bar chanilai, kol hamitlotzetz, gorem klaya leolam. Anybody that's going to be mitlotzetz is also going to cause klaya, destruction to the world. Shenemar, ve'atat l'tol titlotzetzu pen yichzeku mosechem, ki chala v'nechretza shamati, amar Rabbi Elazar kasha hi shetchilata yisurin ve'sofa klaya. At the beginning it's going to be yisurin, but at the end it's going to be klaya. Tarash Shimon Pazi says Shimon, מה תכתוב לי בפסוק השני האיש שלו לא הלך? זה שלא הלך לתרתיות ולקלקלות של עובדי עבודה כוכבים. He didn't go to theaters. He didn't go to circuses. He didn't go to... ודרך חטאים לא עמד, שלא עמד בקינגיון. Yeah, what does that mean? צידת חיות על ידי כלבים. You know, when they trap animals. ומושב לסינו ישב, שלא ישב בתחבולות. He didn't go with פיחות. שם יאמר אדם, הואיל ולא הלכתי... Okay, so listen, I didn't go to all these things. אלך ותגרה בשינה, so I'm going to come and I'm going to sleep all day. תורתו יגע יומם ולילה. You should always come and learn תורה. ואמר שמואל מנחם יונתן, אשר איש שלא הלך בעצת רשעים זה אברהם אבינו, שלא הלך בעצת אנשי דור הפלגה, שרשעים היו. They were רשעים, שנאמר, אבל נבנה לנו עיר.